The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of D-Link webinars. Today we are going to be looking at Wi-Fi 6. But before we get onto the topic, just a quick update. So as you can well imagine, myself and Craig are both working from home today. That's an introduction for Craig to say hi.
Yeah, hi everyone. I hope everyone's working at home and safe, staying off the streets and enjoying the TV when you get a chance to.
Oh gosh, I've got so much TV to catch up on. It's unbelievable, Craig, as you know. But anyway, we continue to soldier on here, just to let you know in case there's any difference in the audio quality, because obviously Craig and myself usually share a very expensive microphone, but now Craig's going to be on a headset. So if he sounds like he's on the moon or something like that, we apologise, but needs must.
Yep. And if I sound any better, then please let us know. We've wasted all that money on an expensive microphone.
Headsets are the way forward. As I mentioned, we're here to talk about Wi-Fi 6. Today's presentation is going to be a little bit different, and probably different from any other Wi-Fi 6 ones that you've watched. Some of those that I've watched tend to be just what's Wi-Fi 6, what's great about it, and obviously we're going to talk about that. But we want to take you on a bit of a journey. So we're going to go back in time and see how we got to where we are today, and then look forward to Wi-Fi 6 and the products that D-Link are going to bring to the market very, very soon. Just go through the benefits and how we can help you and how these products can help your business or consumer as well. So
sounds good.
We flip on to the first slide. One of my favorite movies, Back to the Future. So we thought we'd go with a Back to the Future inspired slide here. So we're going to be taking you back from today, 2020, back to 2009.
Back to 2009. Where were you in 2009, Alan? What was you up to?
Oh, God, I think at that time I was working for DHL, Craig, over in Egham. So sending mail across borders, magazines, and all that kind of stuff. So a bit different to where I am today. So.
Oh, brilliant.
But yes, I was still watching Back to the Future anyway, because it's still one of my favourite movies.
I think we'll all be watching Back to the Future at some point this confined period.
Yeah, it's a good time to catch up, isn't it, and rewatch some of those old classics. It was a simpler time back in 2009, possibly not as simple as this picture shows, but a lot was going down in 2009. So just to bring you back to some of the big headlines from the year, Katy Perry and Peter Andre split up. National shame, I'm sure. Bit of a tragedy. There was the miracle on the Hudson. Now, as Craig will be at pains to point out, Tom Hanks didn't actually save anyone. He was in the movie, which was called Sully. Well recommended if you don't remember, or recommended for quarantine viewing. I definitely suggest. And then the big story for people who are interested in cricket anyway was England winning the Ashes. So after losing the previous series 5-0, England won a thrilling series 2-1, or as thrilling as cricket could be. So Craig's eyes just glazed over them because he's not a cricket fan.
I did, yeah, completely tuned out.
But what else was going on in 2009? As the big piles of old CRT monitors here show, it reminds me of another classic movie, Office Space, which is again another well-recommended one for these quarantine times. But technology was different in so many ways in 2009, but for 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, it's still the same as it is today. So, Craig, do you want to talk through the single user MIMO part?
Yeah, absolutely. And what you said was quite paramount to what we're trying to get through to people today, is that we are using technology from that space, and we use it daily as well. And it's not even just a small, subset of the technology we use. It's actually something quite paramount. So our access points and all of our routers that we have in our houses are using that old 2.4 technology. But it's never been improved since 2009. And so that old technology was what we class as a single user, multiple input, multiple output. So what you're seeing here on this screen is where a device will be talking to an access point or a router, and you'll have multiple devices, but they can only be served at one at a time by the router. So it will first device, the second device, third device, and then goes back. So there's a lot of delay in the transmission of that 2.4 gigahertz wireless technology. Alan, you still with us?
I am. I was just clicking for the slide to demonstrate the MIMO. Bear with us, folks. We are, as I said, we are working from home, so it's a little bit less responsive when I click for the slide to go to the next one. The one thing I'll say is, thank God, monitor technology has improved since then, Craig. I'm sat here with my lovely 23-inch TFT flat panel monitor, and I don't think I could fit one of those old monitors on my desk. So thank God that's improved markedly.
Definitely in these times where you're working on your kitchen table.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I've got a good little setup here with my docking station and everything. So
Yeah. So back in 2009, it wasn't just 2.4. So we had some different wireless standards. We had BG, and 2009 was when N come out, which is why we've chosen 2009 as a way of looking back on. Now, when N came out, we also had 5 gigahertz come out. So that was introduced at that stage. So now we had a 2.4 gigahertz channel and we had a 5 gigahertz channel. The 5 gigahertz channel was introduced to try and free up some of those frequencies, so that when we're trying to use our wireless, we're not clashing with each other and other devices and trying to keep things away from each other. And that's how we can do it using the 5 gigahertz. And that's what we've been using as well. But it wasn't actually faster at that stage. It was still using that 3 megabits per second kind of 300 megabits per second kind of speed, but you would be able to do it with less interference. So it didn't actually do anything to increase the speed from a standard N 2.4 gigahertz range.
So then we move on, and the next stage was wireless AC, also known as Wave 1. So hence the background here.
That's right. It was kind of retroactively called Wave 1.
Yes, that's why we did put it on the slide. We did talk about that, didn't we, Craig?
We did. Yeah. We do class it as Wave 1, and that's when AC came out. And AC did give us a big change in speed over the standard N wireless, but still not quite where we are today. Still single user MIMO, didn't introduce anything new, but did give us improved speeds, but it was only for 5 gigahertz. 2.4 gigahertz was never improved, wasn't touched.
And so many devices only operate on 2.4 gigahertz, especially back then, am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you still have to update your devices to work with AC speed. So everybody started buying new devices, new mobile phones, and different things like that. But that most things would have what you call dual band. So you'd have a 2.4 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz broadcast on one device, whether it's an access point or a router. And that's still what a lot of people's homes today, actually.
Yeah, well, people are facing the same choice today, aren't they? Do they go for the 4G version of the new mobile phone, of the new Samsung Galaxy, not pimping any brands, or do you pay that little bit more and get the 5G version? Because it's a big choice at the moment for a lot of people, isn't it? So is 5G going to be big for anyone outside of a major city in the next length of their mobile contract or not? So
that's right. Well, it's slightly different, I would say, for mobile phones than it would be for routing, because obviously it's the whole network that has to be replaced and improved. Whereas when you're looking at 5 GHz speeds, it's really just the client and it's really just the endpoints broadcasting.
Yes.
So upgrading those two things means you instantly get an improvement. So it's slightly different for home networks and LAN infrastructures. Yeah.
So the speed over time, as demonstrated by the graph here, I think it's very clear about just how important Wi-Fi AC or Wi-Fi 5 being introduced into the speed. So Wi-Fi 4 we were looking at 60 megabit, and then Wi-Fi 5 going all the way up to 7,000. So that's a factor of almost 12 times increase there. So
yeah, big increase, but still not really fast enough to get those kind of speeds that we can deliver, especially if you're a home user and you're using something like Virgin cable, Virgin modems and things like that, where I mean, some people have got 250 megabits per second lines these days. So if you're using this older technology, you're still not going to be ramping up speeds that are even available through your WAN infrastructure as well.
Wide is still the best, eh? So moving on to we'll still say that AC Wave 2 is today.
Yeah.
We're pitching
Wave 2
Wi-Fi 6 is tomorrow, aren't we, Craig? So
that's right. Yeah. So Wave 2 is where we are today. Now, a lot of people might not actually be using Wave 2 devices. If you've upgraded in the last 3 or 4 years, there's a chance that you're still on that Wave 1 territory. And Wave 2 is something that we've been selling for the last couple of years, I would say. Now, a lot of people, I think, might have been waiting between that Wave 1 device and the next Wi-Fi 6 evolution.
It's especially possible if someone's still using, if someone's been with an ISP for many years, and their old modem router combination still works, then I expect a lot of people wouldn't know about the advantages of Wave 2, and they probably had that device unless it's broken down for maybe 10 years or so.
That's right. Yeah, and they might be in those households where their Wi-Fi is struggling a bit. Maybe they've got some kids and lots of devices. Maybe they're trying to implement a smart home and not really realized what Wave 2 actually gave to the household. And that main thing was multi-user MIMO.
Yes, well, I can speak from experience there, Craig, because I had a PlusNet router for 10 years before I joined D-Link. So I was pretty sure I was still on Wave 1 up until recently, and using Wi-Fi extenders to make sure that I could get a signal in my bedroom, whereas now my trusty router does that for me amply well. So
excellent.
Yeah.
So what is multi-user MIMO? Basically means that all devices, well, maybe not all devices, depends how many devices you've got in a household, but multiple devices can be used at the same time. And more importantly, the router and the communication between those devices happens at the same time. So there's no waiting, there's no delay in your network. So it's not really just for consumers that would take advantage for this. If you imagine you're in the education sector or hospitality sector and you're installed in big business, the last thing you want is big high density environments where people are trying to get internet access through guest Wi-Fi's and things like that. And they're all having to wait for other devices and the amount of communication. Because when you start introducing massive amounts of devices in a very small amount of area, like an auditorium or somebody who's trying to do some lectures in a student's lecture hall, that's where problems start happening. And that's where multi-user MIMO actually comes in and starts freeing up our hands and speed of our clients.
Just to mention this time, I forgot at the start. If you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the question box on the side. Craig and myself will get to them at the end of the presentation for you. So if anything comes up, just let us know. So, welcome to tomorrow, to coin the phrase from a famous cartoon. Wi-Fi 6 for a lot of companies, they've had Wi-Fi 6 products out on the market for a long time. But I think it's fair to say, Craig, that some of those early products from certain companies aren't fully up to speed and compliance with.
That's right. Yeah, something that I've been looking into a little bit recently, in fact,
Yeah.
and noticed that a lot of people jump the gun, and they won't actually tell you that either. So
Of
if you
course
are
not.
buying,
Of course not.
yeah, if you are buying products that are Wi-Fi 6, what you really need to do is look at the small print.
Yes,
We'll go into that a bit later on another slide, I think.
indeed. So, what are the key benefits of Wi-Fi 6? Wi-Fi 6 is 10 gig. Potentially, you can reach speeds of 9.6 gig.
Yeah, so massive, massive difference. So let's just have a little think about that quickly. 10 gig speeds via Wi-Fi. So if you're someone that's moving around in a business environment and you're pulling big files, imaging, that sort of thing, 10 gig speed's really going to help you. A lot of people do imaging, design, anything, Photoshop files. Imagine how big those can be sometimes. And you're pulling big data. 10 gig Wi-Fi is really something that's very much needed, especially in the future going forward.
Well, I mean, I can speak from experience there, Greg. As you know, some of the Photoshop files and some of the video files that we download, the Photoshop files are about 250 meg, and the video files are 1.6 gig and stuff like that for a very short video. So that's going to be massive, and just make downloading those files as easy as pie.
Yeah. 4 times more efficiency, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more, but that basically means that the actual traffic on the network is making a change these days, and I'll explain that in the next slide.
Yes, that's related to our favourite acronym. Faster throughput, so you can expect peak transfer rates to be about 40% higher on a single device, which will undoubtedly improve things massively. And one of the not so talked about things is enhanced battery life for client devices, which I'm sure that as we all probably have 5 or 6 USBs plugged into our laptops right now, or mobile phone on charge, stuff like that. I'm sure that everyone will be happy that we can extend the battery life on those things for longer. And that, again, is related to another slide that's going to come up a little bit later on.
That's right, yep. So just to be a little clear before we go further anymore, we discussed multi-user MIMO and how it was implemented for Wave 2 in the generation that we're currently at now, I suppose you would say. What we also discussed was 2.4 gigahertz and how it hadn't been touched since 2009. What's really important to know is that multi-user MIMO is coming to the 2.4 gigahertz, where it was never touched over all this time. So that's what AX is another main benefit of, is that it's improving that 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz at the same time. It's not just the 5 gigahertz.
Brilliant. And one of the other key advantages of Wi-Fi 6 is the ability to work in dense or congested environments. That's one of the key points that's often pushed out there about it. So, pardon me. Sorry. So yeah, so some really big benefits for Wi-Fi 6 there. OFDMA, which is something that you've probably heard quite a few bits about related to Wi-Fi 6, and OFDMA it's explained a little bit better by the following slide here, which I'm definitely going to hand over to Craig to talk through. But the move from AC to AX adds an A onto the OFDM that was under the old wireless AC guideline. I take it, Craig, and that's what this diagram explains.
That's right. So it's another major thing that's AX is bringing with us, and it's really about encoding data using multiple carriers at the same time, which is how OFDM works. So orthogonal frequency division multiplexing is what the current state is, and what we're bringing is multiple access. So it basically works by splitting the radios into smaller subsets, but just to give you an idea of what that means to everybody, so we can all understand it, is imagine having less trucks and more data on them, so that we're carrying data in a more efficient manner across our network. And when we start becoming more efficient on a network, things start speeding up, less overheads, and less amount of data traffic on our network. So it's something that really improves the whole network for that Wi-Fi experience.
Target wake time.
Yeah, this is something a little bit more useful for everybody, I would say. So even if you don't have a very large network, if you're just a consumer user and you're only using a few devices, this is something that actually is beneficial to you from consumer level as well. Also, if you are in a business environment, massively important for all of your users that they get a good experience. So what it does is it actually saves power by talking to the devices that are negotiating, so DHCP, they're negotiating with that connectivity with an access point, and they're actually saying, well, you don't have to wake up when I'm broadcasting out to everybody. You just wake up in your own time, and you let me know when you need to wake up, and we'll talk then. That's basically what it means.
And that's what leads to the better battery life, Craig. I take it's because the devices
yeah, absolutely,
basically smarter. So they as this diagram shows, the trigger for the devices to be put to sleep and then wake up. So look forward to some increased battery life when you upgrade to your Wi-Fi 6 products. Good. WPA3 is next, certified for Wi-Fi 6. So if we go all the way back to 1999, that was when WEP was first developed. Does that wireless encryption protocol, Craig? Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
That was
wireless encryption protocol.
All the way back in 99. Then we had the first iteration of WPA, which came about in 2003. WPA2 has been around since 2004, which seems crazy, doesn't it, Craig? It's almost similar to how, well, it's even longer than how long before the 2.4 gigahertz channel was updated.
It is, yeah. I mean, there's different encryption mechanisms with that WPA2 as well. So it's not quite as bad as it sounds, but yeah, it's been part and parcel that we need to sort of move towards the next generation of encryption.
Do I remember WPA2 SK? Was that one I can remember, I think? Or am I?
Yeah, there's a few. There's AES as well, which is a little bit more secure, but that's completely up to how, and TKIP would be the other one.
And now but now WPA3 and all of D-Link's devices, all of our Wi-Fi 6 devices will be coming with WPA3 as standard. And I believe we're working on WPA3 on older devices as well, which we'll have more to talk about in future webinars. So
that's right.
Watch this space. Anything to add on WPA3, Craig? It's just the next.
No, it's just something that we just need to advise, is that to let you guys know that when you do upgrade to an AX product, you're upgrading the security features of it as well, not just the performance.
So another tick in the box for Wi-Fi 6 there.
Absolutely.
All these unexpected benefits, extra battery time, increased security. We love Wi-Fi 6. So shameless plug time. This is the first in our new range of routers, and I have to say it looks rather good there. So this is the DIR X1560, and this is going to be our entry level router for Wi-Fi 6. This will be the first of a range of 3 that are coming, and we'll show you a couple more in a minute. This one will be released imminently within the next few weeks or so. Obviously, stock dependent, looking at the current situation. But it's got everything built into it that you'd expect from a Wi-Fi router, Wi-Fi 6 router. My apologies.
That's right. It's really important that people know it's that technology we've explained in this webinar that you get from all of our products.
Yes, the target wait time and everything we've gone through, all of those are included, unlike certain other products.
Who shall remain nameless for the time being. We'll let you do your own research.
Yes. Yeah. We've also got the UCLA internet test included on this, so you can verify all the speeds and everything like that with all of our products. That comes standard on the whole range.
Absolutely. And what's really nice about that, Alan, is it also improves how the quality of service works on these products. So it means you do a little quick test, tells you exactly how much data you've actually got available to you over your internet connection, and then based upon that you can start dragging and dropping some of your devices into that high priority, and it's literally as simple as that, and all of a sudden you've now got good quality of service on your home network.
Brilliant. As mentioned, these are the other 2 routers which will be up and coming. We should have a firmware release date for them shortly. Obviously, we won't commit to a firm date at the moment, but they are imminent to add to the portfolio. So you've got the AX1800 on the left side. Then again, a slightly higher spec than the previous version. And then
we're going to very fast speeds on that one when it comes to the actual amount of throughput that you get, and that's really because of all the aerials you've got, the extra streams that we're able to put in, and you also get further distance with the high gain antennas too.
Brilliant. The AX5400 router is just like wow. Yeah, we're all waiting for that one, but some of us are unhappy that our home broadband isn't fast enough to take advantage of the extra stuff. So we're not all lucky and on Virgin 300 meg downloads. So yeah, but if you are, good luck. Okay. So other Wi-Fi 6 products that D-Link have got on the way. So a couple of access points here. Both are going to be added into the Nucleus Cloud and Nucleus Connect portfolios. So the top 2 are for the Nucleus Cloud. So we've got the AX3600, which is a 4x4, and then the AX1800, which is a 2x2 version. Those are both for the Nucleus Cloud platform. And then we've got a couple of new APs for the Nucleus Connect platform. Again, AX3000 and 4x4, AX1800 and 2x2. So those will work on the Nucleus Connect platform. They all come as everything does with the WPA3 as standard for that increased security. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so as we talked about earlier, are D-Link late to the party for Wi-Fi 6? Well, I'm going to say no, aren't I? Obviously, but as we mentioned a couple of times, the early Wi-Fi 6 products which have been out in the market have been missing some major features which make Wi-Fi 6 so great. All of the stuff that we talked about today. So certain products in the market are missing the target wait time. Certain products are missing the uplink OFDMA, and certain are missing the BSS coloring. So in order to make sure that we could fully support the full specifications of Wi-Fi 6, the D-Link waited until the full raft of specifications were announced, and thus all of our products are compatible with everything that you've seen today. and that ensures that anybody buying a D-Link product can be fully assured that they're going to get all of the benefits of Wi-Fi 6, whereas some other companies may have maybe slightly jumped the gun on a few bits and will have left some of these specifications off of their models. So
yeah, absolutely. And here's a challenge for you: if you are looking at AX routers, maybe just check the data sheet, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and just double check in the fine print that you're not going to be missing out on some of these features. Okay.
yeah. And if you're in doubt, you can always give us a shout. Okay, that's pretty much all we've got for today. Craig, have you got anything to add? Summing up on Wi-Fi 6 before I...
No, hopefully everybody's enjoyed and safely in their homes. I think that's the message we also want to give out today. And that it's business as usual for us, as you've seen. So if you are looking to get some help or have any questions or want to drop us a call, we are still here to help. Not going into full-on lockdown. Everyone's able to work from their homes nice and easily. Okay.
Yeah. So that saved me that. Thanks, Craig. So if you've got any questions about Wi-Fi 6, please don't hesitate to contact us, UKI-sales@dlink.com. Probably best to use the email at the moment, although the telephone calls are still being routed to us via a reception service, which is fully manned. So we'll still get those calls, or call your account manager direct. I'm sure that Rob and Mark will be very happy to receive those calls. As under quarantine, it's always nice. We've got a question coming, Craig.
Yeah.
Will client devices need to be compatible with Wi-Fi 6 in order to make the most of these features mentioned? So,
good question.
Good question.
Yeah, very good question. Yes and no. So if you want to make use of the faster speeds, then you are going to need a device that's got a chipset that's also compatible with AX. That's a given, that if you want those kind of speeds. However, some of the technology we discussed, such as multi-user MIMO, is actually negotiation between the router and the devices. So you would definitely benefit from faster communication to new devices if you're coming from something that was wave 1 or prior to that. So multi-user MIMO is definitely something that you don't need to upgrade a handset for to get that extra performance from.
The one, was it, you don't have to fully upgrade your laptop though, do you? Or, sorry about that, my dog. You don't have to fully upgrade. There was the availability to buy an add-on. Was there not for a laptop? I remember seeing something about something that you can add on to that cost about £80, so you could take advantage of the Wi-Fi 6. But
well, you'd be able to obviously use USB 3.1 speeds and things like that to add a dongle to a currently existing laptop, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's possible. You can do that, but ultimately, that chipset is still an important factor to get those faster speeds. And obviously, you would have to look at the laptop as well, make sure that the USB type is fast enough to get those speeds too. Which, if you're using 3.1, should be okay.
If you're still using 2.0, you don't deserve it.
Out of luck, yeah.
Okay, so if that's it from everyone, if there's no more questions, just to let everyone know, obviously in these times we've had to cancel any in-person visits. The road shows have obviously been put on hold, but we'll be looking to restart those once we come out of this. I'm sure we will come out of this in a few months' time, and everything will be back to normal and have a lovely summer. So we'll be looking to put the training sessions and the road shows back on the map, probably looking at autumn time now. So myself and Craig will be out and about and getting very busy and offering you some more training sessions, and gives Craig some time to work on his nucleus training sessions as well, which I'm sure are almost ready to go now, Craig. So
yeah, they're ready. They were ready just before we went into quarantine, unfortunately. So bad timing.
So yes, so as Craig said, it's business as usual from here. We've got another webinar in 3 weeks' time, I think, which is about Nucleus, and specifically about how we can help MSPs. So another great listen for you guys to join in on. If that's everything, then I'm going to say goodbye and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks, Greg. Bye now.